A novice of reviews, Midnight Cowboy, 1969. Guys, this was on my Netflix list for a long time. Thought, why not watch it? I like this movie. Here are the things I like about this movie. I like the soundtrack. I like the setting of New York City, the feeling it gives me. I feel like, another thing, I feel like this movie gives me a better understanding of like the American dream mentality. So American dream mentality, and then also like the dynamic between Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, the main characters as a duo. I like the dynamic. Now I'll go bit by bit. The soundtrack. I like the soundtrack in this movie. I wonder. I don't know the name of the song that they play in this movie. It's like everybody's talking about me. I hear what they're saying. Ding ding ding. I don't know if anyone knows what song I'm on about from me just mumbling it. But it's in that movie. And there's various other songs where I don't know, they're just giving me like a good feeling of like, oh, there's a bigger world out there. And it reflects that story, right? About one of the main characters who's going off on a journey to a new part of America, wants to make a name for himself, doing certain things, right? And a lot of this movie, it reflects that emotion when he's got his mind set on the future and doing great things in the short term when he feels like he's struggling with something. I'm talking the main character, John Voight, and then later his dynamic with Dustin Hoffman as well, another main character in this movie. I really like the soundtrack, guys. Another thing I really like about this movie, the setting of New York. There's a lot of movies nowadays. I understand why, because especially when you're watching an action movie, if you're an action buff like me, I'm not an action buff, but I gravitate to that easily. You dumb down your brain to a degree, but even I sometimes can't get over a lot of these cities. To what extent in the modern day, where we have camera phones, are we dramatizing like certain seediness versus showing the real reality of it? There are things in crime shows that I know to be true that have happened on broadcast on the news with like some London shows. I can't speak for like places like New York. And then there are things that I just let myself take in the world and try not to think about it too hard, but it's in the back of your mind, right? But when you watch this movie, it takes place in a time where you know, or at least I feel confident that this place will F you over 10 different ways, and you feel that at times with the main characters, right? Even though Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, the way they start off is an unlikely pairing, but then they build that connection, and they're just trying to make it. They're just trying to make their way. They're trying to hustle. They're trying to do what they can, and you're reminded that this city, like, it owes nothing to no one, but it's still a place that people associate with opportunity. Speaking of such, another thing I like about this movie, it made me understand a bit more the mentality of like the American dream, because the way this movie starts off, John Voight, one character who comes to New York, then he meets Dustin Hoffman. He is this like way next level naive. He's that guy who you think that he knows a trick or two, but it becomes very obvious that, oh, you're just an idiot who thought he could come here, do so and so, and it would turn out great for you. But I realized by thinking over it right before I started filming this, at the end of the movie, it's not that. It's the fact that he has like a sense of resilience and hope in himself. If I go this way and do this certain thing and go and like work hard, I am gonna build something for myself. And whatever you think about that in the comment section, about the idea of like someone just building a name for themselves just through hard work alone. Whether you think there's more to it, whether you think that's too black and white, that's for you guys to decide in the comment section. But I feel like I've understood a little more that resilience, that sense of resilience, and that hope that certain Americans have. That is like, it's something that sometimes may resonate with me. But even though I don't feel like I completely like understand it, it's definitely something that I feel like I understand more through these characters in this movie. Yeah, people just want to make it. People feel like they're really gonna build something for themselves if they just work hard and, you know, pull themselves up by the bootstraps. I think as the phrase goes. And yeah, I liked that about the movie. It made me understand that a bit more, why people think that way. Well, lastly, oh yeah, I've been talking about it throughout the interview, the review, but the dynamic between Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, like it a lot. Again, unlikely pairing. This could help me. I'm planning to watch certain other movies from like the 60s and 70s, Taxi Driver, so on, in the future. But I'm realizing this could help me understanding storytelling, how you build, and like in places like this, in a place like New York in the 60s, doing the things that the main character's doing, how you build strong bonds, and what that's supposed to look like in terms of good storytelling. Because their dynamic, on paper, I don't want to spoil it, but this movie's old as hell. But I want you guys to watch it and realize that it shouldn't make sense because of how they meet and the circumstances, and they have good reason to not trust each other. But they do build that bonds, even though they don't say it. By the end of the movie, you feel like, oh, you know what? This really was like a story about a group of guys that joined together who were just trying to make it, and it went another way for them without being too explicit. In terms of flaws, yeah, maybe because of the friendship, I say friendship because of the dynamic between the main two characters, Dustin Hoffman and John Voight. I wish the movie did not end the way I wanted it to. I wish it ended in a way that would have hit me more. It just made me sad at the end of the movie, without giving too much away. Even though, again, I have no right to super love these characters. They're not angels, right? But that's maybe like my only issue with the movie. Sort of. It's just my feeling on the ending. You guys tell me what you think down below. Like this video, it helps with the algorithm. Share it with all your friends. I know they're gonna love it. And lastly, if you haven't already, press that subscribe button. It's right there. It's right below. Don't be shy. Do it. Other than that, guys, I'm signing off. Salute.